Hello everybody, what's poppin'? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, it's another video where I'm ranking cars from a certain year. This year is 2010, and we're going to be going over my top 10 of the year for 2010, of course. This is probably like one of my favorite years in terms of new releases. We had quite a few, and I just feel very nostalgic thinking about like, I can still remember going into stores. I can remember which diecasts I bought. I even have a few here that are from that time period. So that's what we're doing today. 2010 was simultaneously one of the best years and also one of the worst. 2010 had the biggest cancellations in the history of the line. You had quite a few singles. This is talking in terms of new cars. You had quite a few singles like Rev and Go Pity, Bertha Butters Wagon, Race Damage Leakless. He was supposed to be released as a single, as well as in a 3-pack with Race Damage No Stall. There was Benny Caliper, I meant Bernie Banks, a whole lot of cars. You also had all the haulers, you had a few tunes cars in there as well, and there's also the team sets. And then that year is first in terms of cancellations, 2017 to second, and you also had quite a few re-releases that were canned as well. So without talking too much about that, number 10 on this list is J Limo. No, this particular J is actually from 2010. Obviously it's from 2010. That was the only time he was released, but this particular one that I've had since that time. I remember it was after a dentist appointment, I want to say. I went to Target and bought it. Now, J is a unique model as far as we know. We have the headlights. You can see quite a few chips on this guy. The headlights are all chipped. The tail lights rather. No license plate, but there is a little spot for it. Although that's closer to like a trunk thing. You have the light blue main body, the silver topped, with the iconic hair, which is like, Jay Leno in real life does have a hairstyle that is kind of resembling this. It also has like the big chin, which Jay Leno has, and I think they did a pretty good job of like clarifying that. The only real complaint is like the expression. It's sort of like Mini, where it has like no eye change. It's just staring straight forward. Directly at you with kind of like a confused face almost. It's like he's just seen a ghost or something else like that. Number 9, Matthew True Blue McRae. Now, he was first released in 2010, of course, and then he was also re-released in 2013, or 2013 and 2014. I want to say 14, but I'm not 100% sure. And he may have been in one of those multi-packs, but I once again cannot confirm. He has like a nice, almost like a light blue color, which in my opinion looks really good, especially since, it's a king car. That lighting actually makes the blue pop off a lot more. I should probably change it back to white for now, just because that one does look a little bit too blue. You have the King flag, a very large flag. He is the Benny Caliper model. I guess we can call him the Matthew True Blue McRae model. Has a nice expression with like a kind of widened mouth. Shocked at what he was seeing, which is what he was at the movie. Tail lights, headlights. Overall, I think this guy is actually pretty solid. Number 8. The Swift Alternator. Now, he is the only car with this model that was released. Bernie Banks did have this model, but he was canceled. There's only one photo of him, so it's impossible to tell if he would have been the same size. I believe he probably would have, but in the picture, it just makes him look really big for some reason. He has a nice green color, solid expression, all the really nice wheels, the roof rack, headlights, tail lights, license plate. This guy, really solid. There's the green there. I did review this guy in retro releases a few weeks back, so if you want to go like more in depth on this guy, you can go check that out. Number 7. Number 7 is going to be Nick Stickers. Now, I remember when Nick Stickers first came out, I was like really excited to get him. Of course, I never ended up getting him until he was re-released, which is what this one is. But he's kind of like gone down on my list. If this were like 2010, he probably would have been like at the very top. For some reason, he hasn't aged well for me. He has like the singular decal, which I think is nice. You have all the bumper stickers rather, all over the his left side and the hood. Another solid expression. His mouth is a bit too like wide, I want to say. Headlights, taillights as well. Got the license plate. Overall, I think he's actually still really cool, but I don't know. He's just been re-released so many times that it's like hard to legitimately be like, oh, this is a really unique car. Sticking with another green car, we have Milo at number 6. Milo, another unique model. I believe there was a few other cars that appeared with the model in the movie, but he's the only one that was actually released with the model, and I believe he's the only one who has been scheduled for release with this model. A very long car. I have had this guy since 2010 as well. He is much better condition than Jay's, though only a few chips. You can see one in that bumper in the bottom right. His model is really cool. Yet again, actually I really like this guy's expression. He's sort of like an elongated trapezoid. You have the wider back end, and it slowly morphs into a very, very thin front end. It's like one of the thinnest of any normal car that's not like a miniature car like Polly Puddle Jumper, who we'll get to later, or I guess Pities, of course, will be way thinner than this guy. Like this, I'm not gonna go get one, but they are a little bit thinner than that. But they're Pities, they're miniature cars. 5. Another recent retro releases reviewee. We have this guy. This is Vern. That pink looks really cool, but doesn't fit too well. So we're gonna go to that or that maybe. Nope, that's too rock. Yeah, this is perfect. He has like the dark, almost pinkish red. Has a really interesting expression. He's like shocked, even though, as I mentioned in the retro releases episode, we never actually see his face. We just see the rear end. And I believe I mentioned this as well. You have the Vern's taxi in Cars 2. And while it's not actually Vern himself, it is a Vern taxi. So it's technically like still around, I suppose. The Vern's up top. One thing I forgot to mention in the video is you have the 2 normal rails on the left, the normal rail up right front, but the back right wheel is actually different, and actually there's a hubcap. Almost looks like some kind of Matchbox one. So I think that looks really nice. And yeah, another favorite of mine since 2010. He did get like 1 re-release since then. I might have been 2. Number 4. For the first time, we have 2 cars that were released separately, but are being reviewed together, or not reviewed, brought together. Johnny and Jamie. Let's change the color to, I think that looks pretty good. Maybe that? That looks solid. So Johnny is, I guess, the Johnny model in a dark blue. The brown eyes, cool expression, and, no, that's Jamie. This is Johnny. Johnny is a very nice model. He's the only one to be released from the actual movies. With that model, you had Bucky Breakdust and Big Fan from the Cars Toons line. He is a dark green. In the movie, they're like spitting over the edge of the LI500. I think that could make a nice 2-pack in the future. Spitting Johnny and Jamie, I guess. When I have the, like a little, it'll be like blowing bubbles later. both of them pretty solid. I actually really like these guys a lot, and I like some of the other ones. I have had both of these guys since 2010. Actually, Johnny looks really nice from that angle. Look at that, he looks really nice. Number 3, one of the I want to say most iconic cars of this year, or not this year, but that year, 2010. Race damaged mood springs. This is the rarest car on the list. Brown Park Motors, I don't have him, but if I were to put him on the list, he'd probably be, I don't think he might make it, but I can't really judge. He'd probably be towards the upper half of the list by like Nick Stickers or, what's his name, Swift Alternator. I did review this guy recently as well, so I'm not going to go too in depth. Got the closed eyes, the real, of course, an extremely unique model, nice expression, race tires, all bent, beat up. Overall, just a really nice car. And there's that very unique angle. That's kind of what he looked like in the movie. I guess he sort of do it more like that. But yeah, looks really nice. Number 2, Valerie Vett. Now everything looks green under this, but that green isn't too much different from what it actually looks like if we were to go to white and see there. Actually, I guess it is somewhat of a difference. What's that? Is that like light up, or I'm not sure. You have the really nice green, cool expression. I actually really like hers. I have a whole lot of detail on this guy. I mean, her. You have the rear tail lights, headlights, front stuff, and she appears in that end credit scene. One of the very few end credit scene cars that have been released. We should get some more. There's some really cool cars in there. Pretty solid model. I guess just the Valerie Vett model. There are, of course, there's several other cars that use the model, but I believe she is one of the only that was released with the model. I want to say, well, because I'm not 100% sure. Overall, I actually really like Valerie. That's why she is number 2. That out of the way, it is time for our number 1 spot. And the number 1 spot goes to Polly Puddle Jumper. And now Polly here, I've had her since 2013, and that was when she was released in the Kit Revster multi-pack. Now she has the King Crown, the really cool expression, and she is I believe she was the first car to be released with this model. Unfortunately, Bertha Butter's wagon would have been the second, but she was canned. And I believe Polly was in like the first case of Final Lap. If I remember, I was looking at some Take 5 Day articles not too long ago, and they mentioned something about her. This blue actually looks really nice, so I'm going to turn it back to white to see just how cool that that blue looks. Quite a few scratches. Polly, there's several cars for this year, and I guess she is number 1, and she's the King's number 1 fan, according to the book. Anyways, that's pretty much it for this episode of, I don't even know what I'm calling this thing, ranking the years, I guess. That's what, I forgot what I have the playlist as. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I like doing these. If I didn't, I wouldn't be doing them. But yeah, let's get every last car in there. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.